This is AutoSave, a book club for video games. This is the podcast where we go through video games chapter by chapter, and we are continuing our journey in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, chapter 5 and 6. And guess what? We're on a boat and on a beach as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the cool breeze of Costa del Sol. Welcome to AutoSave. I'm your host, Camille Salazar-Hadaway, and joining me as always, we have Mr. Nick Andrade. How are you doing, Nick?
I am doing, I don't know what that was.
Nick's moving his hands in weird ways, making birds. We should do like a shadow puppet episode.
Sometimes I forget that it's just audio version most of the time. There is a video version, but this is predominantly an audio podcast. And yeah. I forget sometimes.
It's wild and crazy.
Thank you for the description.
Wild and crazy.
Yes.
People don't know what's happening because we're not describing it to them. We're a horrible podcast. No, we're actually a good one because we are. That was a good recovery there.
We are.
Because we are playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is obviously the podcast where we go through chapter by chapter, and we are well on the way in this game with this journey, with this crew. And this game is telling me that it's not going to give us answers to all the mysteries we've had from the previous game and the start of this game anytime soon. So you know what? We just got to go with the flow. We got to enjoy. And on last week's episode...
You picked the wrong girl, creep! What?
Those guys there are from the Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell?
They used to be with Avalanche, but left after a policy dispute.
Easy. They're guests of mine. And this one was trying to save your life.
He was? Nice going, Yuffie. Call the guy a creep, why don't ya? You big moron! Dum 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 dum.
Okay, Yuffie. Let's get you inside. You've had a rough day.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Yuffie makes an appearance after a turn of crazy events that also included dolphin riding. Pretty cool. Apparently dolphins are also very, they're not as docile as people think. They could be very vicious. So beware of the dolphins.
They can kill humans, right?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
They're also very smart.
How often? More than sharks?
I wasn't
or
looking
less?
that up. I don't want to know how I could die. And how often. But dolphins are scary, but unless you're riding them and they're helping you out across your mission. We also learned that we have more unexpected allies than we thought, because a lot of people are not fans of Shinra, like Rhonda, who we met last episode. Cloud also got back to being in soldier mode as we went undercover as a bunch of troopers for Rufus's coronation. I almost forgot his name. I'm like, who's that guy that's very annoying? Oh yeah, Rufus,
Rhonda, some heavy names.
Rufus,
in this
coronations.
Yeah, just
happening.
They just seem like really big and like Rhonda's.
I think Rhonda is actually scarier than Rufus. Rhonda,
you think so?
Rhonda was a bit abrasive last episode. Go back and listen if you didn't catch that episode. But Rhonda was a bit like abrasive, more boss-like than Rufus. Rufus, sometimes I'm just kind of like, you're a joke.
Well, everything that she said last time was like, I turned you in, but I was going to use the money to rescue you.
Well, she's straightforward.
All right.
And that's what I find is
she's very honest,
which I find is sometimes even scarier because there's no filter. We also got Yuffie's attempt at assassination interrupted, and we were in the midst of it. And thanks to Yuffie, we actually got a deal that we were making with Rufus nulled and void because of that attack. Rufus was going to call a truce, and it didn't happen thanks to Yuffie. So thanks, Yuffie. Oh, Yuffie. Crazy. We also got to fight Roach, which, if you remember, very theatrical character. That, you know what? I dig him. I think I like slept on it. I'm like, you know what? I think I may be a real Roach fan here. But with all that said and done, we ended up getting onto a boat to head to Costa del Sol. And that's where we are at today. But before we head into the chapter and find out what the island paradise has in store for us, Nick, guess what? I have a question of the day. And this question actually comes from our producer, Dylan.
Whoa. Look at that. What a smart guy.
So smart. This is actually a really good question. We didn't have time to prep our answer for this. So this is going to be really, what we're feeling, Nick. What video game places would you want to go on vacation to in real life?
100% Rapture and BioShock, right?
Yeah, no, with the musky smell.
Wow, this is a hard question. What has the most leafy greens? Oh. See, I already forgot what it was called in Skyward Sword. Sky Islands?
No, okay, that's a good one, actually.
It's pretty peaceful.
It is pretty peaceful. So are you more of I'm guessing based on that answer, you're not necessarily an island, like Caribbean heat, like tropical island feeling type of vacationer. You want somewhere that's cool, but you still get a little bit of vacation, like an island life there.
Yes, I normally don't go on vacation on a beach, which I probably should one day to just do nothing. It's very nice. But when I do go on vacation, it's like to explore. But then you get more tired. I don't know.
That's a good one.
What about you?
Destiny Island, Kingdom Hearts. That's one.
Ooh, very pretty.
It's the popsicle for me. I really want that popsicle. I would love to be on vacation, walking around and having that blue popsicle. That's just iconic. I don't know what was it about that popsicle that everyone loved and like wanted one in real life.
It was like a salty
soda kind of thing. I don't know, but it just looked so appealing, even though it was a video game and everyone talks about it. It's a thing now. Outset Island from Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I was going to say somewhere from Ocarina of Time, but I mean the whole planet, like Hyrule's in ruins. Like even Twilight Princess, there's some great places, but again, there's darkness in the air, so I don't want to be there, You got to pick somewhere that's light and bright, and I think those two are probably my favorites, because danger doesn't, Destiny Island does have danger. Ooh. Then I think my answer is Outset Island, because it seems like it's untouched.
Heartless. What about the Fortnite map?
No.
Is there a land? Is it called something?
There's a bunch of little areas within the Fortnite map.
Yes, but is the main land called something?
You would ask a Fortnite player that. I am not a Fortnite player.
I used to play Fortnite a lot. I had 8 victories under my belt. Real pro.
Wow, look at you. Yeah. 8.
Solo victory royales and a couple extras.
Solo. Not even being carried.
Yeah.
You were carrying yourself. You had yourself on your shoulders.
We wouldn't want any maps of Call of Duty, right?
No, because then you'd have the poisonous gas if it was any Warzone maps just coming in to kill you. That's not cool.
Does the stuff in the game happen?
I would say yes. Maps? I think you have to consider some of that stuff. Like Toe Town's another one that's like really good. From
the Animal Crossing island.
Oh, okay.
Because that way, all you could do is fun things with, there's no chance of you getting killed. But you have
Tom Nook,
right?
Who's gonna be asking you for that bell? The bell's gonna be like, "Hey, can you pay up? Need more money every single day." Yeah. Tom Nook appears. Hey, you need more bells. Are you selling that? Because that's kind of annoying. That's like you're pretty much working.
And their voice too, like Like if they did that every 2 seconds, I'd probably go crazy.
I'm not for that. I think, that would that would be horrible. But Toad Town in Super Mario Galaxy, you have a little bit of mini games in there. You have all these toads that are just so cute and adorable. I don't think I could ever get tired of their voice, so it would work for me. I think that's another good one. Do you have one more?
I don't know.
I'm trying to. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, sorry, but like almost every, not every, but there's a lot of Final Fantasy video games that have Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
Right? What?
Oh my gosh. Honeybee.
The honeybee. Yeah. But that's still Sector 7. Like,
true.
And I'm thinking of like big grasslands. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's just like fun, nice grasslands with some nice wind blowing and maybe some pumpkins are being, grown there, or,
Stardew. You just need a little bit of Stardew. You need a farm in Stardew. I think you need to visit a farm in Stardew.
But I'm also more of a city person.
Well, they have a little quaint town nearby.
A little quaint town.
Little town. All right, Nick. Well, you're not going to get your city escape quite yet. I think actually what's perfect for you, where you should book your next flight to, is the Sky Islands.
Yeah. Honestly, way better. And you can go to multiple different places.
Just be sure to pack a paraglider or else it will end horribly. Well, with that said, we still have our adventure within Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to continue. Are we going to see Yuffie again? I'm curious about that because she definitely made an impression. Well, we're going to have to find out right after this break.
So how's it looking up top?
All the robes are in second class. Haven't seen any sign of Shinra, though. We can ditch the uniforms.
Aww. Well, it's been an honor, Captain. Captain.
Hey, about this deal Rufus wanted to make with you. I know it's off, thanks to Little Miss Ninja's stunt, but personally, I think she did us a favor. Nothing good ever came from making deals with the devil. Shinra can't be trusted, no matter who's in charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Good evening, and welcome aboard the Shinra 8. We're sailing smoothly towards Costa del Sol and expect to arrive right on schedule. Though your time with us may be brief, we wish you all a pleasant voyage. As for this evening's onboard entertainment, we will be holding a Queen's Blood tournament in the lounge. Any and all interested guests are welcome to join regardless of experience. See the lounge staff for details.
You heard the man. To the lounge. Come on.
See, Nick? I was right.
What?
Barrett thinks we dodged a bullet. By not taking that offer or having it interrupted because of Yuffie.
Yeah, I think it worked out for the best, to be honest. I think Rufus probably had something up his sleeve, right? It seemed too good to be true.
Well, you know what's too good to be true? I feel like being on this boat is too good to be true because now we finally get to take off the soldier uniforms. We start off the bat with this chapter giving us a lay of the land that is this boat, because we on a boat. And we see some... Why are you laughing?
I'm on a boat and I'm going fast, and this is we're aging ourselves.
Is that like what?
That was like 2008.
2008 isn't that long ago.
Pretty sure.
Is it?
Yes, it was. It was like 30 years ago.
Gosh. Well, anyways, we are on a boat, and that was a really catchy song. But we get to see the lay of the land. We get to see some familiar characters, some being Andrea and Madam M, Nick's favorite.
Love Madam M.
which is pretty interesting. We also see a new character who, with pink hair, who kind of like walks away. Seems like she may have a little bit of an attitude. So I'm curious to what that's all about. And we hear that the robed figures, the cloaked whisperers, whoever they are, the black cloaks, is
that's
that
what we're calling them. Yeah.
There we go.
That's what we decided on last
the black
episode.
Cloaks. They're in second class because that was very important for us to know. And Aerith, we actually find Aerith and Tifa having like this little discussion between the two of them as they wait for Barrett, Cloud, and Red 13 to come back. And Aerith is very much wanting to talk about boys. And for this, it's not the fact that she wants to talk about boys. It's the fact that she brings up the conversation and like is wanting to ask Tifa a question. I think she's starting to show that she has a crush on Cloud.
Obviously.
Like, obviously we know that there's something there. But the fact that I think she's doing her research. She's doing her digging. And it's getting a little annoying. It's like, back off, Aerith.
Is it weird to me, though, that Aerith and Tifa are so close and good friends, even though they both have crushes on Cloud?
I think it's like, it's kind of...
And they whisper about him to each other. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, but do they know each other has a crush? I don't think so.
I would assume
I think
they'd
we
figure it out
know
by now. And if they don't...
I think we know. I don't think they know.
Then they're clueless.
Well, maybe they're a little clueless. But guess what? We don't get to talk boys. Because as you heard, Barrett, Cloud, and Red, they show up. They let us know that they did their reconnaissance and it's okay to take off the uniforms. Which to me, it's just like, aren't you trying to hide? Wouldn't you just keep the disguises on? But okay, sure, whatever.
Well, I mean, the disguises aren't really disguises anyway.
I guess not anymore. I guess people would ask like why soldiers are on the boat. Or because everyone knows that they're disguised as soldiers.
Right.
I don't know.
Can I ask you a question that's off topic here? Do you have any idea what's going on in this game right now? I'll be honest with you. Playing this game, I was just like, I don't know what the main task is. I know that we're trying to find Sephiroth, but everything that's happened so far with these black cloaks, I don't understand. We were following the black cloaks, then got into a mess, followed the black cloaks again, and now we're on a ship. And no one is suspecting these weird black cloak people who can't even talk?
I mean...
Really? How did they even get tickets to this boat? And where are we going? Nothing is explained right now. I'm sorry. Nothing is explained.
Where's their tickets? Where's security checking tickets? Because I'm pretty sure they don't have any. That's probably the best question you had in that little rant of yours. I do know what's going on. We're following these black cloak people to see if they lead us to Sephiroth. And that's all that matters, okay? The game's not giving us any more because guess what, Nick? It doesn't matter right now. But just live in the moment. But I get your frustration. Okay. There's definitely some a plot holes in a sense. Some things that just don't make sense that I think the game is just like, that doesn't matter. Don't worry. Turn your attention here.
I don't even know if it's plot holes. I just think it's just an absent plot. They're just like, it's, I don't know. Maybe that's like real life. You know, you kind of just go through life and things happen.
Hey, it's the game. The game is life. And you know what we hear as well, which was kind of life for me through my experience of playing through the first bit of this game. We hear that there's a Queen's Blood tournament.
Yes.
When I heard this, I was like, oh no. Nick, every time I hear Queen's Blood, I get a little nervous because then I spend like an hour in a game trying to win.
An hour?
Okay, maybe half hour, but it's still too long of a time. We'll explain my woes in Queen's Blood a little bit later. But we do hear that there's a tournament. I'm a little nervous. we do go to enter the tournament, and we go where all the players are, and we meet the pink-haired character that we saw at the beginning, and we find out her name's Regina. She's apparently the master at Queen's Blood, and she looks like she's going to hold up some tough competition. We also get to see some other entries, and we hear that Tifa, Barrett, and Aerith are also interested in playing, but so is Red. And we see Red go to register for the tournament, and the woman at the desk says, it might have been a guy, someone says at the desk, sorry, animals are not allowed to enter.
This is ridiculous. Red, okay, can think and talk and do pretty much anything. He should be allowed to play Queen's Blood.
Did you?
I am disturbed by this.
It is so disturbing. Did you catch their exchange? Like, did you watch this exchange happen between the two of them? Because it goes on for quite a bit.
Afterwards?
Well, you see, like, the first, like, wait, I want to register. And then they're like, no pets allowed. And then Red is trying to convince the woman, or the character, that they are not, like, a pet. They are, like, pretty much the same as a human, and it's hilarious. He stands up on his hind legs to kind of imitate a person, and he's just, like, going back and forth, and it's just, I felt so bad for Red, because he really wants to, according to Red 13, try Queen's Blood in order to learn the thinking of, like, people, of humans, how they think, the thought process.
Well, just let him play, okay?
Just let him win.
Like, look how many kooky characters there
so
are.
many.
You know, there's so many kooky characters in this game. Like, just, come on. He's not even the kookiest.
Well, you know what? You know who could register? Cloud can, and that's exactly what we do. Cloud registers for the tournament. And then the person asks, like, what is the name you want to register on? And Cloud just says Cloud Strife. I mean, aren't you trying to be discreet? Why would you use your real name? That's kind of a noob moon.
But this is where the whole plot thing comes into my mind. Like, they got caught, but they didn't get caught. And then nobody cares that they're there, but then Rufus hates them now. And now they're just on this ship, and they don't have to really be incognito, but they still have a bounty on them. Or is the bounty gone now? I don't know.
Good question. But we do have to play some Queen's Blood, Nick. How are you at Queen's Blood?
I'm really good. However, I still don't, and I've been playing this game for a long while now, and I enjoy it. I still don't, because I never really read the tutorials. I still don't know exactly how it's played, like what the rules are, because there are some cards that can, destroy other cards, or they go into a negative amount. Some go into a positive. I know how the rules work in terms of winning. Like, you need to win each
like
bracket,
each row,
or at least two of the three each row, or at least two of the three, so that you have more points than the other person. But if you asked me specifics on how it works, couldn't tell you. All I know is that I need to. It's such a weird game, but all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to restrict the other team from playing as many cards as they can. So using those little rubies or those little bulbs, like the colored bulbs
pawns?
that you could put your card in.
The pawns?
Sorry? No, not the. What are the
you
pawns?
need like see, this is where I was confused, right? Because you have to lay you're on both sides of the board, and then you have to lay your pawns down, or like the cards down, and allows the spaces around you, depending on how that card plays, to put a pawn in one of those spaces. And if you have one pawn, two pawn, or three pawns in that space, determines which cards are available to play in that space. So if they're of the higher level, I learned that you could not play that. And that's what was irritating me. The first time I played Queen's Blood, I was like, why can't I play any of these cards? And it was because I didn't have enough pawns in that spot.
But how do you initiate that? Because I know you can use pawns that sometimes create a 1 square for the 1 tiers, or sometimes 2 or sometimes 3. Because not necessarily a 2 creates a 2. A 1 can create a 2, a 2 can create a 1. See? Again, not even sure what the power levels are. All I know is what I try to do is I try to expand my area where I can play a card and restrict the area where they can play a card. And that's the most knowledge I have on this, but I seem to do really well, right?
I think that's all you need to know. It's just a little, I think it seems more intimidating than it actually is because there's so many different cards that you could play. And like when you have to like throw at the beginning, you could choose to throw some cards back. I'm like, I don't know which cards to throw because I don't understand the strategy of the individual cards that much. I think that takes time. So it always is very intimidating anytime I hear Queen's Blood. This took me so long because I take a very long time. But Cloud does end up being the finalist in the tournament. And then it's interrupted by a moonwalking Red who is in disguise in the trooper uniform that either Tifa or Aerith was wearing. And Red just shows up, standing on his hind legs, very disturbing, moonwalking, dancing, saying that he's a new entrant. He wants to challenge Regina, who is the known champ. And she pretty much says, you have to beat him. You have to be Cloud in order to play me. How did you do against Red?
I think it might have taken 2 or 3 times, but I beat him. Again, my strategy, I don't want to get into too much of the nitty gritty, but soldier cards are the most useful cards because when you start with them, they create a kind of wide net of what you can play. I also stick to decks that are already pre-made, so I know I know that they'll be good because they're pre-made. Because I don't know what I'm kind of using. Again, if I don't really fully understand the game, which I probably shouldn't say on this podcast because
we're not the experts. I wouldn't say we're the experts. We're just people that play games and we like to talk about it. And we hope you love to enjoy it too. So I think there's other people, Nick, that's going through the growing pains of Queen's Blood with us. But there's something about that game that is highly addictive. And yes, after many attempts, we win against, Red wins. And then pretty much like he celebrates, which is very, very sad. Sad that he has to celebrate like that.
Well, I mean, Red too. He used his awesome soldier costume. Looks incredible.
He showed up to win.
Can people tell that he isn't human? That's up for debate.
Questionable.
But we all just had fun along the way, and he got away with it. So that's all.
He got away with it, and you know what? We got to get to bed, and that's what we do. We go and.
Oh wait, sorry, wait. I just noticed it says Red wins.
Yeah, Red wins.
No.
What?
I won everything.
I didn't.
So there we go.
Wait a minute. Yeah, see the choices in this game. So yeah, you could lose against Red.
There are choices. So, but you gave up though, because you can.
That's why I said after many attempts, Red wins because I gave up.
The difference is you could always rematch. So I rematched until I won everything. I think I faced Regina a million times until I beat Regina. Okay, you had enough. Well, it's better than what our game player Chris did, who didn't even play the tournament at all.
Really?
He just skipped it for the more important story beats, which I totally understand. But Queen's Blood to me is almost the best part of this game, so I had to spend as much time as possible playing.
So we end up going to sleep. Red all happy because he won. Good job, Red 13.
Not for me.
Not for Nick. Nick's the winner.
I won.
But we hear an alarm go off in the middle of the night, and we find out that the ship is being attacked. So we go out to see monsters are now on this boat, Nick. They are on this boat. They are attacking everywhere. There's mass panic with the crew, the captain, the people that are just trying to enjoy this boat ride. And we also see during some of these, so you go through, you battle some of these monster groups, and then you eventually see that some of these monsters are actually latching on to the black cloaked people and fusing with them, which is very interesting. We haven't seen this before, so I don't know what's happening. But guess who knows or suspects or wants to find out what's happening? Hojo, who gets a call from the ship's captain. Was it the captain or a member of the crew? It might have been the captain, right?
It was the captain.
The captain says, hey, look, we're being attacked. These monsters showed up. Can you send help? Kind of thing. And Hojo's like, oh, interesting. People are scared. People are being attacked. Well, guess what? Keep the experiment going because I want to see what happens. Because he wasn't expecting this fusion to happen with these cloaked people. And this is where I got confused. Because even though he's very intrigued, did he set this up then?
No, I don't think he set it up. I think it pretty much is explaining that he just wants to see it happen, which is very disturbing. That he's like, no, Captain, let everyone die so I can see what happens here. He's just maniacal.
And why is the captain calling Hojo? Is there no National Guard? No.
I thought he called somebody and then it went to Hojo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Right. So they out of all the loopholes that we have so far in this chapter, I think they tied that one together.
They solved that one. Well, we end up continuing with the battle, and we find out Hojo's actually the creep and jerk that we always thought he was. He has so much pleasure in watching this experiment, as he says, happen. But the captain gets really scared for his crew, and during one of our battles, well, this happens.
Those rogue men have been merging with the fiends, becoming monstrosities bent on killing us all. But no more. Not on my ship.
Hey, take it easy!
Don't shoot! I'm not one of them, I swear! Holy shit!
I had to. For the sake of my passengers and crew.
Guys! Look at the dead guys!
The time has come for reunion.
What is that? Keep it away from me!
Sephiroth?
They say she's a monster. That she can peer inside you, into the very depths of your soul. That she can become those you hate, those you fear, those you love. And they call her Genova.
Well, we weren't expecting that appearance to happen. So pretty much what happens is the captain shows up. It was kind of unsure if the captain was going to shoot Yuffie, who is also in this battle, especially because we've heard the captain kind of conspiring with Hojo, but he ends up shooting the black cloaked figure, and then we see this weird series of events. So firstly, we see the cloaked figures start to kind of like, it looked like they were about to eat the dead cloaked person, but they just grab the arm and then start to fuse or transform. Oh no, Nick's doing some weird zombie-ish. Oh, gross.
You know what I look like? When I do that, I look like the guy from Men in Black that says,
"Oh,
Killer!"
Show off. That was actually really good. Show off.
God, I am ugly.
So we get to see they I guess it's like this fusion process that we're seeing with the monsters and the cloaked figures happening amongst them, the robed people, and
the black cloaks.
The black cloaks.
The black cloaks.
The fusion happens with the black cloaks around this arm of the dead black cloaks, and they start to transform. But Cloud sees Sephiroth. Or we see Sephiroth. But then we find out, I think it's Cloud that's the one that sees Sephiroth again. So this vision thing is happening. And we hear Sephiroth talk about this Genova and people and her power. And we hear the cloaks actually talk about the time for reunion. As they fuse. So there's a few things happening, and as it's happening, we see Tifa looking at Cloud like, what the heck? And then we see Genova Emergent appear, and it triggers a bass battle. It triggers a boss battle. What's happening here, Nick?
So I'm trying to think, is this story beat happening because Sephiroth is trying to tell us something? Are we learning something more about Genova? Right? There are questions I have is what's the point of this? Because it happens a lot. We get these visions a lot. It's always about Genova and what's happening with these creatures, but is it really giving me any answers? No. Not really. I'm just here for the ride, basically, because I've seen this before. We're not getting any answers out of it. It's just continually asking the question, what is Genova? Who is Sephiroth? Why does Cloud keep having the visions? Why does Cloud keep having these visions by himself? There are certain times that the whole group sees Sephiroth, and there are certain times that only Cloud does. Why is that the case?
No answers given. We'll never know. But we are finding out Sephiroth's getting more talkative. This is probably the most that he's talked in one of these visions. And it's kind of like he's preaching or like giving a lesson. He's like a teacher. Like, is he trying to teach Cloud something? Is that why Cloud is the only one seeing these visions? Because he's learning from teacher about something. So that's kind of how I take it. Like, Sephiroth is trying to tell Cloud something in these moments. How is he doing it? I have no idea. Is he doing it on purpose? Who knows? But what we do know is we have a boss battle on our hand, Genova Emergent. And Nick, I'm so weak, man. I'm so weak. My party is so weak. I kept dying.
These boss battles, these fights are hard, right?
Yeah.
I think this game has taken a next step in difficulty because I'm playing on normal mode. I'm assuming you're playing on normal mode.
I was like, am I? The Midgar Somer is the one where I was like, what mode am I playing on? And then we talked and it was like, oh no, Camille, like you just need to explore and level up. And this is what reminded me of why I stopped playing Final Fantasy games prior, is because the grind is real. And this game, like every other Final Fantasy game, is saying the grind is real. You better do the grind. And I'm finding a problem with this.
I think I struggled too. I still think I beat it in one, but these are tough fights.
Nice.
No, I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just saying like these are actually really tough fights. I noticed my damage. It just seems way less than maybe it did in the first game. Is it because I'm not using proper weaknesses in that scenario? But again, like I did all the grassland side quests before I got here. My party level was, I think, a 3 around at this point. My guys, they're leveled up a lot. I think they had HP. Their HP was pretty good, but it's still, I was surprised that we already had a Genova variant boss battle by chapter 5.
Oh, well, after you beat the variant, thank goodness, it goes away because I had enough of that. And then we find out that it wasn't actually Sephiroth that Cloud saw. So it's confirmed that this was a vision. And, the crew here kind of seems a bit worried about Cloud, but frustratingly does not say anything. Cloud doesn't say anything. and the crew doesn't really push him even further to try to get answers from him, which I think is the most frustrating thing about this game. It seems like there's always these unspoken things or things that want to be said that because of being interrupted or because of the time or just being nervous, it's just bottled up. And I feel like we would have so many answers, Nick, if someone just pushed Cloud to talk a little bit more about what's happening.
We won't talk anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's true, but you know what we're going to do? We are going to talk some more, because after this break, we depart the ship and land in Costa del Sol for Chapter 6 of Fool's Paradise.
Thank you.
We just arrived and I already hate it. Come on, let's get out of here.
Should probably wait for them.
Right. So a little sightseeing couldn't hurt, could it? I mean, come on, we're in Costa del Sol, people. Costa del Sol!
Perhaps we could find some shade first. I'm about to melt.
Could shave you.
Hang loose! Hang loose! Thank you.
We are at Costa del Sol, and Tifa and Aerith obviously want to hit the beach. Which, I mean, Barrett, come on.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you?
Why doesn't he like the beach? What's wrong with that?
There may be a reason. I think it's because his arm, he may think it's going to get rusty. But that's just my opinion.
Okay, that makes sense.
In the water? Yeah. But you don't have to go in the water. You just chillax by the water, you know?
Does this game, I don't know. This chapter feels very 90s to me. Like, as much as you can hide the fact that this game was, the original was made in the 90s, there are definitely telltale signs that it still has that base. And this chapter is one of them. I think.
But you know what? I'm enjoying it. I do enjoy it. We actually see, when we arrive on the shores, we actually see the cloaked figures, because that is the main mission. We are following the black cloaks in order to get to Sephiroth, because we know this meteor is coming and Sephiroth has something to do with it. So when we get to the shore, we see the black cloaks like glitching. They're just walking in place, or like kind of like just around the shores, but not really walking in a direction where they can walk to. So that's why we decide to, you know what, just sit back, enjoy the sights while we wait for them to make their move. We meet the mayor, who gives me the icks. Just something about this mayor is a little sleazy to me.
All the mayors we've met so far have felt pretty sleazy.
I don't know if it's the gold chain. I don't know if his shirt's not being buttoned all the way up. I don't know. Something's just not right. And we get the general vibe of the island. And we hear about this, pretty much like they have a special event that's happening on the island. So it's pretty cool. It's actually a real getaway with some cool things that we're going to be able to do. But first, we have to find somewhere to stay. And is this like the only getaway in this world? Because everywhere is booked. Every single resort on this island, every single inn, every single hotel is booked. What the heck is that crap?
So far, it seems like the coolest and nicest place in this game. I would assume that I feel like this might be the only beach area. So that's why it's always packed.
Yeah, they're not in the slums anymore. They want to just get away beyond the plates. Well, they do get away, and we are without a place to stay. That is until we find our good old friend, Johnny, who shows up, and guess what? Johnny actually now owns an inn, the Johnny Seaside Inn, that we actually he offers for us to stay at. Very nice of Johnny. What wasn't nice, though, is how everyone was mean to Johnny in this moment. Because when they saw the place, Barrett's like, it's a little rundown. Don't get me wrong, okay? It's a little rundown. But Barrett was like very like skeptical about this place. There's holes in the wall. I think later on he calls it the sea smells. And he asked Johnny, where's the seaside? Because there's no beach near this place. And Johnny's like, it's all about the air, smelling in the seaside air. That's why he named it Seaside Inn. The other,
this was the chapter where I expected to see Johnny. Was there a moment where I knew we'd see Johnny in this game at some point, and when we got off the boat, I'm like, this definitely is a Johnny spot, and lo and behold, there he was, and obviously he's up to his shenanigans again.
I know Johnny has a way of just finding himself in the randomest places. And in the randomest situations, we find out that Johnny actually got the inn because he was broke, had no money, and the mayor offered him the inn at a really good price, pretty much half the price. But the catch is...
But how did he afford it if he's broke?
Well, that's the catch. He's so broke that the mayor had to lend him the money to buy the inn.
That doesn't sound
so
good.
I was like, I knew this mayor was sketchy. So weird.
Yeah. Like you
and
said.
we it's just like such a Johnny story. I'm like, Johnny, how do you find yourself in these situations? But before we even get to really hang out with our good old friend, he has to go because the mayor's calling him. So he kind of seems like now he's just under the mayor's like maybe his right-hand man, like has to work his debt off or something like that. He's just another one of the mayor's lackeys.
This is what you said. This mayor has something up his sleeve.
I don't like it at all. But we do like the beach, and so does Tifa and Aerith. But before they could hit the beach, they want us as Cloud, Barrett, and Red to explore while they get ready. So that's what we do. And the first thing that I found funny is like when Red goes to like explore, we see like all the kids in the island like come to him and like start playing with him. And I feel he gets that a lot. He got that in Calm as well. So I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of that.
I think children just gravitate towards him. For what reason?
He's just cute. He's like a little dog. He's cute.
But he looks ferocious.
Yeah, but he's still cute. We're also greeted by dancers as we're exploring. And they actually complained about the black cloaks kind of ruining the vibe on the beach. But before...
Yeah, obviously.
Wait, you don't want people moping around while you're trying to enjoy the sun? Being like, oh, reunion.
They can't even walk properly, like you said earlier. They're just like walking aimlessly. Like it looks like they're going to fall into the ocean.
They definitely stand out for sure. But before we actually see what's up with all that, we want to look around. And when you look around, you could actually play a lot of mini games that happen around this special event. And you could collect cards that allows you to buy gear to go to the beach, which you may say, why does Cloud need gear to go to the beach when he has his armor and Buster Sword? Well, it's because this beach is gatekept. They have someone checking if you're wearing beach attire to go to the beach, which I found hilarious. That's horrible.
Yeah, why are they gatekeeping the beach? That you have to, it's mandatory to wear a bathing suit.
And then to my question then, is black cloaks a bathing suit if the black cloaks are at the beach?
I mean, they're still like half naked too, though. It's weird. I don't know how to explain
I guess they
it.
are naked under that. Oh, disturbing.
No. We don't want to
That's
talk about it.
disturbing.
We don't want to talk about it.
Well, there are mini games. You could play a rampage shooting game, which I found was very enjoyable. You could play some more Queen's Blood. I think they call it Card Carnival because it's a team up Queen's Blood. So it's Queen's Blood, but you're playing with a pair, and you can play with Regina. And then,
which is hard.
with just her. Was there any other games that I'm missing?
There was the
that Cloud got to play.
Not Cloud.
Yeah,
someone else.
yeah. So we get to those ones a little bit later, but for now, these.
Okay, so I won't.
Well, it's
mention
okay.
that one.
These are the two that we're gonna play for now, and then you could actually go trade in, like I said, these cards that you collect from winning these games for clothes. And there's a Chocobo shirt that you could wear that reminds me of Johnny. I didn't like it.
Is that the one you picked?
No, I didn't want it. I was like, it just gives that Johnny vibe.
There's also then no shirt at all.
And that's what I did. I rather...
See, this is where we're gonna get creepy in this episode because we need to remind each other that these are video game.
Hey,
characters.
I know they're video game characters. I did it solely because the Chocobo shirt, I think it's called Ocean Chocobo. It is hideous. And then he has like his collar open. I was like, this. What was that? Oh my gosh. When we went to see in remake Madame M, or no, when we went to Corneo to like dress up and everything, there's the guy in the middle, the most stylish one. There's the three guys that we have to like get approval from. Anyways, that guy in the middle, that's what I'm reminded of when Cloud wears it. That and Johnny, and I was just like,
No one wants to wear that shirt.
No
at the
one wants
beach.
to. No. So
right?
Cloud did not, in my playthrough, wear that shirt on the beach. Did he for you?
No, I didn't buy that at all. I bought the other version. Because, when you got an 8-pack, you got to show it off. Right? And Cloud has an 8-pack.
Exactly. We're living vicariously through Cloud and his 8-pack. But you head to the beach. You see the cloaked figures disturbing the vibe, as the dancer said earlier. But then we also hear Barrett kind of say something interesting because he's empathizing with these cloaked figures. He says they're not doing anything. They're just being them, talking about the reunion. Debbie Downers, but they're not bothering anyone. And yet people on the beach are still treating them like monsters. My question to you, do you think Cloud has any sympathy towards these black cloaked figures? Because he does look at them, but I couldn't get the emotion if he feels what Barrett is feeling.
I think that's the issue with Cloud. You can't tell how he's feeling. He's very guarded. He doesn't talk much. And does he care about these black cloaks? Again, like you said, we've seen it from Barrett. He actually physically wants to help these people. But Cloud just I feel like he just goes with the group, and I feel like he does not care about the black cloak individuals.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I'm kind of sad about that because I feel bad for them. But we do also arrive on the beach, and we see Barrett kind of interrupt this disruption with the cloaked figures and the beach goers. But now we're waiting. We're waiting for Tifa and Aerith. So let's check in with what they're doing.
Thanks for keeping watch. I'll only be a sec.
Take your time.
Well, the water won't turn off. Johnny sure found himself a real fixer-upper. Kinda reminds me of home.
Are you almost done? Aerith?
Aerith, are you all right?
Tell me, what color would you say this is?
None.
Thing is, it used to be white. At least, it was back in Midgar.
Materia is formed from the life stream itself. Orbs infused with knowledge, memories.
The whispers. They took all that from mine?
These memories were precious.
Yes. Extremely.
Weren't you headed to the beach? Some time with Tifa might lift your spirits.
Yeah.
All right, so we hear this conversation with Aerith and Red 13 about Aerith's materia, because she's noticing that her materia is changing color. We're actually really losing its color from white to this clear. And she doesn't understand why. And we hear Red 13 say that, well, materia is really from the life stream and it's infused with knowledge and memories. And now Aerith is starting to connect the dots that maybe the Whisperers that took away her memories is affecting her materia. What do you think about that?
It seems like we're finally getting a couple more answers, along with some questions, because we heard that voice again off the top. But I kind of think this makes sense in terms of like our multiverse type situation that we've talked about through the last few weeks and Whispers, and that maybe that materia symbolizes what all the Aeriths are going through at the moment, if that makes sense.
Like maybe that one Aerith that we saw at the beginning of the game, who we suspect died because it kind of replicated that iconic scene from the original, are feeling the effects of that Aerith dying. So that's actually an interesting theory. I don't know what quite to make up about this whole thing, material being lost, because honestly I didn't give two craps. Because, like you said, we heard that voice. And I was like, who is talking to Aerith? Because we heard this voice last episode, and Red 13 was in the room last episode when Cloud overheard that voice and was kind of worried, like, who is Aerith talking to? And it was just Red leaving the room. But the voice didn't match Red. And now we see it from Red's perspective with it happening again. And he was kind of spooked a little bit because he heard the voice and was like on guard. But again, no one is there. And he didn't ask Aerith who she was talking to, which is so frustrating.
Maybe he didn't hear it.
You think he didn't hear it?
Maybe. Maybe it was only Cloud who can hear it.
But Red 13 just heard. That's why he got up, because he was sleeping.
But maybe he just sensed something. We don't know for certain.
Or was
I'm
it
just
that
saying,
he heard her respond?
Yeah, it could be a multiple. Like, again, like dogs can sense presence that maybe humans can't feel, right?
Yeah, but then why did Cloud sense that presence, right? I don't know. It's
kind of
weird.
The voice. Again, like it could very well mean that Red heard the voice, but I'm just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. Is it only Cloud who hears that voice?
I took this as Red heard the voice, but maybe the narrative of the game is not telling us everything just yet. It's trying to trick us a little bit. But we do decide, as Red 13 suggested, to meet up with Tifa. So we take control of Aerith and head into Aerith or Tifa. You could choose as you get Tifa and head in to explore. When I was heading out though, and I kind of brushed over it, but then looking over Chris, who captures gameplay for us here, I heard it again as Aerith starts to walk out towards the town, like out of the inn. You hear someone say, how about an orb? How about grab an orb or two? And it sounds like that voice you heard before.
I feel like I don't even remember this part.
It's like just her walking and you hear the voice. Like, how about an orb or two? And it sounds identical to the voice that she was talking to or hearing in the room.
Do you think it's her being possessed?
Well, I was just kind of at this moment, wait, is she linked because she has, we believe there's multiple universes, hopefully.
Yeah.
And maybe she's linked to what's happening to herself in those other universes. And maybe there's some being that could also be linked to that and know what's happening. Like, I don't know, but it was kind of interesting because I only heard it when I was taking control of Aerith at that moment.
It's got to be Zach, right? It sounds like Zach.
Does it? It sounds more kiddish than that. I don't know.
It does.
I don't know.
Is it younger Zach?
I don't know. I wish I knew, but we don't know, and we're not going to get the answers now because guess what? We got to play some mini games and get more cards because Aerith and Tifa need beach attire. So there's a Run Wild mini game that catches Red 13's attention because it's pretty much like soccer for dogs and chocobos. It's Rocket League essentially. But Red really wants to win this game because there's a huge like piece of meat that is like the prize at the end. And when you win, he enjoys eating all of that, which is funny to me. And then you have the segue. So you run into Johnny and you see that Johnny is like in a rush to go somewhere and he's on a Segway, but there's also a helicopter behind him. So he runs away from it. You run towards the helicopter and you find out that, hey, there's this woman here named Jenny who works at the Segway rental place, and she is not impressed with Tifa because apparently Johnny's been telling stories to everyone in this island saying, I guess, that he's in love with Tifa or that they may be an item or at least hinting to it. And Jenny, it seems like, has a crush on Johnny. What are your thoughts on Jenny?
Well, first of all, Johnny, buddy, you know that Tifa doesn't love you, so stop spreading those rumors. 2, if you have a girl like Jenny who's in love with you, right, and who is getting jealous of Tifa, I think you need to run to that woman. She loves you. Like, I don't think anyone else in this world is going to love Johnny, right?
As much as Jenny.
Especially how weird he is. Yeah. Exactly. So.
And they both have, they're both redheads. There's like something there, you know? Like,
a beautiful redhead children.
Yeah.
He's just got to stop playing games.
Quit playing
He's
games.
He's going to lock Jenny down. That's my opinion.
Quit playing games with Jenny. Lock her down. But Jenny is unimpressed with Tifa and pretty much quits her job at the Segway place. And then we have to help the owner collect all the wheelies in the area and return them back to like the station, which I found was funny. I'm like, how did he do this? And even Red 13 makes a comment like, you don't have to impress, like you don't have to do what please everyone, I think he says, to Tifa, because Tifa accepts this job and she just feels entitled to because she knows Johnny and she wants Jenny to like clear things up between her and Jenny, which you do get to do once you return the wheelies. You find out that Jenny learns that there's really nothing there between Tifa and Johnny. So that was great. There's also these hidden cactars, and Aerith teams up with a Shinra like worker who's in a suit he doesn't understand the work-life balance. He's struggling. He's pretty much all of us. He doesn't know how to balance out his work and his life because he feels like he's always laying his family down because of work. But then when he's not, he's laying his work down. So you get to find these hidden cactars along with him and take pictures of them and then submit it for cards as well. And that was fun. My favorite part, though, my favorite and most annoying part is you run into Madame M and Andrea, and they tell us that the pianist who is supposed to perform pretty much bailed because they are going away with their loved one, and they need someone to replace him. So Madame M reads Tifa's hands by grabbing them and massaging them, and then, of course, finding out through that Tifa used to take piano lessons. So they kind of like forced Tifa to perform at this musical performance. And it's very hard. Playing the piano in this game is very hard because it's like just the analog controls and it's so sensitive. I was not good at this, but you have to play Tifa's theme. How'd you do?
There's a specific note in this. I think I mentioned this in episode 1 also. There's a specific note in Tifa's theme that doesn't fully match the timing of another note. And it was driving me nuts and I couldn't get it. I ended up missing just one note, getting an A. I thought I needed a star to complete it all, but I just needed an A.
You just needed
So I wasted so much time trying to get this perfect note. Couldn't do it. But all of these, from like the hidden cactuars to the game with Red, I tried to make sure that I did everything perfectly to the max. But there is a point where you're thinking like, God, this is a lot of slog to get through. Like no main missions in sight. It's just straight up like regular everyday tasks.
Regular everyday tasks for a regular everyday day at the beach.
Yeah.
But guess what, Tifa and Aerith, they finally get their cards and are able to trade it in for their beach attire. And you show up to the beach to join Cloud and the crew, and you learn then that you could actually have the same taste as Cloud, and it'll reflect that based on how you dressed. If, Tifa had the same taste as Cloud, it'll show that. And then if Aerith had the same taste of Cloud, it'll show that as well. And I think that affects your relationship, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't?
Yes, I feel like it does.
I think so, right? Why would it tell us that? But now the whole gang is now at the beach. So it looks like it's going to be a good day. Or is it?
What are you talking about?
Not consciously, then. As you can see, your brothers down there are having a little get-together.
Line them up.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay, let's move along, sir. This way. And stop. There you go. You ought to do it. Perfectly shy.
What the hell are you playing at?
That, my friends, is for me to know, and for you to find out.
Not cool! Not cool! Not cool! Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!
Yes! Only a reunion could produce such results. At long last, I have specimens worthy of my attention.
Sick bastard! I'll kill you!
Barrett! Now's not the time.
Someone has to stop them.
Look, us.
All right, so everyone's worried about the black cloaks ruining the beach, but honestly, it's the dude in the white coat, Hojo, who ruins our beach day because he shows up escorted by Johnny? Like, what the F, Johnny? I thought we were buddies. So I'm now curious about what is the mayor's deal with Hojo, since Johnny's working with the mayor and he's escorting Hojo here. Also, weirdly, just weird. It's not even weirdly. It's just weird. It's just gross. It's sick. There's these women that are like just surrounded by Hojo. And like, they're like, oh, Hojo.
I love how you wrote down, do ladies love Hojo? No.
They do not.
Some ladies love a man in uniform. Like, he's wearing his cloak. He's one of the Shinra elite. He's one of the 7 most elite Shinra members.
No one likes
that
Hojo.
kind of clout clearly they're into it. Doesn't it look like they are?
They're into the money, the guild. They just want to see the money, but they do not love Hojo. They do not. They're just there for the money.
Love is a strong word.
Well, we also hear Hojo's horrible pickup lines. Did you catch that? When he's walking towards the so like this whole part with him. Gross. This
whole scene is just corny.
It's so
like
gross.
Even rewatching it back and listening to it, it's just this chapter is just very strange.
So strange. So gross. Hojo.
Why is Hojo even here? Why is he on the beach?
Well, Hojo, that makes sense. So I think the reason why Hojo's here, although the game doesn't explicitly say it, is because he got the call that the fusion was happening with the cloaked figures. He knows the boat is docking here. So it makes sense that Hojo would arrive. And pretty much that's what we're seeing. We're seeing Hojo. He introduces some monsters, and these monsters start fusing with the black cloaked figures on the beach, and they're also attacking people on the beach. So Barrett's also really upset because he just showed that he feels bad for these guys that are just aimlessly zombified in their black coats. And they're being, again, treated like they're not even people or human, right? Because they're just one of Hojo's pawns, I guess. But we hear some interesting things from Hojo, even though I'm telling you, I really don't like the guy. He's giving us some little clues of potential answers. So he asked Cloud about if he was hearing the call too, and following that call. And Cloud's kind of confused. Then he mentions brothers when he's referring to the cloaked figures to Cloud. So now there's this obvious confirmed relationship. Hojo knows more than he's leading on, it seems like. And it seems like he's making this really strong connection between Cloud and those cloaked figures. And he says that maybe he didn't hear the call consciously, but something is still drawing him to that place. What do you think it is?
This was like a moment where I was just like Leo DiCaprio in that movie. What's the movie?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
God damn it. The Quentin Tarantino movie. Anyway, he was like whistling and he points at the TV screen.
Yeah. Django?
No. I gotta look it up now or else I'm gonna feel stupid.
Oh my gosh. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah. Me and producer Dylan were saying at the same time.
Okay, so I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Leo DiCaprio points and whistles at the TV because I've been saying Cloud's like a clone, Sephiroth, something going on here, and it seems like Hojo knows that either it's tied to the Mako and soldiers turning into these monsters, that maybe he's saying that's why you're your brother, and you'll be like them, whatever, so and so, or it could be the Sephiroth angle. So I'm choosing to believe it's hopefully the Sephiroth angle, but he could also be mentioning it that it's just like you're going to turn into one of these guys.
Yeah.
So I don't want to read too much into it, but there's a possibility that this is pretty much the biggest explanation we've gotten so far as to what exactly Cloud or who exactly Cloud is.
What is Cloud? Thanks, Hojo, for giving us some answers. No thanks for being creepy on the beach. But this triggers a boss battle as we do have to protect the beachgoers. And because the beach doesn't allow for any of our gear and weapons, we actually left that back at the inn. So we have no weapons. And instead, the crew starts to wield beach umbrellas as their weapons of choice. You also have a choice here. Another thing that was very stressful in this moment because it was happening so quickly and everything's like timed.
Yep.
Who do you help? Which group? Do you help Tifa and Red 13 or do you help Barrett and Aerith? Nick?
Who do you think I chose?
I chose Tifa as well.
Yeah, obviously. I'm Team Tifa. I'm trying to get with Tifa. There's no ands or ifs or buts about it. Tifa all the way. So when I saw Tifa was in trouble, pew.
Although logically, because Tifa could probably hold her own and Red 13's so powerful, Aerith and Barrett probably need help. So that's why I was kind of like, I want to help Tifa, but then it's like, is something going to happen to Barrett and Aerith because Aerith is really weak now in my
But she can cure.
That's true, right? But still.
And he's got a gun arm. I don't know. I feel like both can hold their own. They're both pretty badass. It's just about choosing who you want to save.
All right, well, we chose the same person, and we do hop into this beach battle with the world's strongest beach umbrellas. And Yuffie, this battle's like kind of going, it's going, but then there's a point where Cloud is about to be captured in the battle, and Yuffie shows up just in time. And she she does her like ninja cloud of puff and shows up and pretty much asks Johnny to help since he feels so bad that he escorted Hojo to the beach, and feels like he's partially to blame for this. And Yuffie uses her ninja skills, which is probably one of my favorite scenes throughout these chapters. is she puts she like does like this, I don't even know what it's called, but like she like does this disguise thing, this distraction, and has multiple Johnnies show up on the battlefield running towards I forgot the boss's name. I can't remember the boss's name, but the huge
Wait, was this ninjutsu?
What? Yeah, I think it is ninjutsu.
Oh. I thought they were real.
No, because she does the cloud of smoke and they disappear, and that's why they have the leaf on Johnny's head.
Oh, this is straight out of Naruto.
It is. She brought in Naruto.
Kagebuncha no Jutsu.
So then she oh my gosh. Nick is now doing hand jutsu signs. Okay. So then pretty much what happens, that causes distraction, and then she's able to take out the enemy. And I was really happy with the scene. I was really happy with like how they made Yuffie appear useful in the scene, and that kind of that ends the battle. But just as the crew was ready to go and get Hojo, Aerith in the corner's like, you know what, we already did enough, let's leave him. Nick, I was like, are you kidding me? He's the guy with the answers, and we're not gonna go after him?
After all that too, right? He tried to kill you, and you're just like, nah. He's tried to kill us multiple times in both games.
Yes. Or
like captured us or whatever. And you have a chance, and I get we have only an umbrella as a weapon, but you can see what we did to the machine. We beat it up with an umbrella, so come on. Don't let him go.
Oh, well, you know what? I think Aerith was just really tired and just wants to relax. And now that all the monsters are gone, Hojo has left the beach, we get to do that. And you get to actually go around and talk to different members of the party and catch up. And if you talk to Tifa, you hear her, you see her at the bar, and she mixes herself a drink, and she talks about how she misses Seventh Heaven. I thought that was very touching, and you have the option, there's a whole bunch of relationship options at this point, based on your responses. Obviously, Nick, you asked if she wanted to go back?
Yeah, every person, I made sure it was the best answer for all of them.
But see, I'm afraid of doing that, Nick.
But this was a moment, so I understand. But this, I felt, was a moment where you had to, because everyone was it seemed like everyone was reminiscing, or down, or thinking about life, really in their head. So I thought this was the best opportunity to make everybody happy.
Exactly
at that point. So I wasn't looking to mess around.
All right, that's fair. We hear Barrett talking about Yuffie helping the group, and he's kind of feeling down because he wasn't able to do much. So you got to cheer him up. We also hear Red 13 talk about Hojo, because obviously him and Hojo have a very complicated relationship, because he is a victim of one of Hojo's experiments. And then we have Aerith, who talks about Hojo kidnapping her and her mom because of them being a Sentra, and pretty much her hate for Hojo. And this is like, we don't see Aerith actually talk about hating people that much. She always tries to find the good, but it's very clear she hates Hojo.
Well, she let him go, so how much do you really hate Hojo?
It's your fault.
Aerith?
It's your fault, Aerith. Well, with that, we go and take a walk on the beach with Aerith.
We've come so far, but it still feels like Midgar's right behind us. We were his prisoners, me and my mom, Ethalna. He kidnapped us because she was a Cetra, a specimen for his experiments. And after what he did to her, after all the pain and the horror he put us through, I hate him. Sometimes I imagine the things I'd do to him if I got the chance. I start thinking things so dark and ugly that it scares me.
Then don't think.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is, worry about the future when it comes. You'll know what to do. And whatever you decide, I'm with you.
I appreciate it. Shall we? No need to worry about the future till it comes. Not until the moment arrives. And when it does, I'll be counting on you.
Good.
Not you. That was to her, my future self. Can't say when you'll meet, but trust me, you'll love her. Just you wait.
All right, so we hear Aerith talking about her future self. And it kind of feels like, sometimes you'll hear people talk about their future self, be like, this is for the future Camille to be productive. I did it, like you're going to be happy about this, right? But this kind of seems like she may actually be talking to her future self.
Or, I don't know. I still don't know what this means. Is she actually talking to her future self or other Aeriths?
Well, a future self could be an other Aerith.
Yeah.
Because she could be technically talking about an Aerith that's been through this already.
She could also be the future Aerith.
No, because she said you haven't met her yet.
Days of Future Past.
Oh, no. Okay.
The multiverse.
All right.
17 Final Fantasy VII games. All spanning one generation.
Hey, I'm here for it. Whether she's talking to herself figuratively or literally a future version of herself is yet to be known. But we do head back from the beach to Johnny's seaside inn, and he is beat up. He has
poor guy.
One too many band-aids. And he apologizes to the group because we saw him escort Hojo and he didn't know what was happening. But because of that, the girls that he was with and that he helped save that were also around Hojo, they gave the mayor kind of a hard time and forced the mayor to give Johnny the inn and wipe his debt clean, which is pretty cool. So
he needed that break.
He really did. He really did. Do you think we'll see Johnny again?
1,000%. This isn't the last we've. He's one of those side characters that, Final Fantasy and Square Enix a lot of the time in a lot of their games, they have these quirky characters that are going to show up at any moment in every sequel. It doesn't matter. And I'm excited to see what Johnny has in store next.
Yeah, well, for this chapter so far, that is the end for Johnny and us. But after the break, it looks like we can't get enough of Yuffie as we break down her last appearance in this chapter and our final thoughts.
Aren't you all forgetting about someone? And action! Some know me as the world's greatest materia hunter. Others, an unstoppable assassin. And the rest, a benevolent and beautiful ninja. But who am I truly? Who ties what rose? The one and only Yuffie!
Cool.
Hey, hold it, you spiky-haired jerkface! Where do you think you're going? I challenge you to a duel! If I win, you get the honor of serving yours truly. However, if you manage to somehow fluke your way to victory, this amazing ninja will agree to join you. What do you say? Wait, seriously? I mean, we don't actually have to fight. That is, unless you really want to. Oh, abort, abort! Tactical retreat!
The hell is her deal?
going. Think this through. Are you absolutely 100% certain you don't want me around to save your butts?
You can come with.
I knew you'd say that. Well, seeing as you're so desperate, I guess I'll oblige ya.
Welcome to the team, Yuffie.
Yuffie has joined our party. Yuffie shows up and makes a grand reintroduction. I found this hilarious because I feel like she's made many attempts to do an introduction, and she did one. Like, I think she started off when we were in the last chapter when we saw her. She started off doing the introduction, but then it kind of fell flat, and she got distracted and started calling herself stupid. So yeah. It's funny. She does this whole Sailor Moon thing.
I'm upset that she did this amazing performance and they kind of just didn't even care. I would have clapped at least. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, she's embarrassed because they just mocked her.
I know, right?
Come on, she tried her best.
She's just a kid, Cloud. You could laugh. Just tell her she did a good job. Just tell her she just got a good job. Well, Yuffie is an optional character in the original game. And I guess this game is, like, she's not optional in this game. Like, you can't, I didn't say beat it, but can you say beat it? What happens?
Well, if you say beat it, which I think I might have, either way, it doesn't matter. Once you see her again, you have that second interaction and she joins your party. So I don't think she's not an option. Like I said, in the original game, you don't have to have her, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, she's a secret character.
Yeah, I think in this game she is mandatory.
All right, well, Yuffie's mandatory in the party, and hopefully we'll be able to put her ninja skills to the test. Let's talk about Hojo for a second as we wrap up this chapter in this episode. Hojo, we think he knows more than he's leading on, but does he have an interest in Cloud? That is my question.
No, because it seems like he doesn't. I think he's just toying with Cloud. I don't know. It's like he's poking fun at him constantly. But do I ever feel a sense that he wants Cloud? No. I think he wanted Aerith. Mm-hmm. Now that seems gone as well. So I guess that whole Shinra operation of not caring about Aerith anymore is over. Yeah. Hojo doesn't really care. But he doesn't seem that interested in Cloud. So I'd say no.
All right, some no's there. Because Hojo does know all, do we think he knows what's happening with Aerith too?
Yes, I think he has. I think he is. He knows very well, way more than he's leading on to know.
Okay, because I'm kind of taking him as like just a mad scientist wanting to experiment, and maybe just knowing a little bit too much about his experiments, but not knowing too much about Aerith. Although he did capture Aerith, like we heard from Aerith, so maybe he does know more than he's leading on.
Oh, definitely.
They should have got Hojo when they had the chance. Umbrellas in hand. Well, with that, Nick, do you have anything else to add?
The mini games in this chapter are incredibly fun. I got them all to the highest rank. You can actually do them again after you finish a bunch of stuff where there's another tier to beat, and you can do that, which I did. Also, Queen's Blood, the tournament was so fun. Again, I feel like this chapter specifically is a lot of fluff, and not much really goes on, and it seems like it's pretty long, but it's all side quests. So if you don't enjoy doing that, then this might not be your favorite chapter. But if you do like exploring and getting to do different things in this game definitely doesn't shy away from creating things that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
Which I love. But again, it's not for everybody, which I understand. But it was for me. I really liked it.
Well, next time on AutoSave, we're heading to Mount Corel thanks to some intel that Johnny gave us. But you know what? There may be minigames, there may not be minigames, and our trek will continue. And it may be interrupted, probably going to be interrupted, by some people in some suits.
Well, since you're here... With be more than happy to keep you company, though. Now play nice, shitbirds.
Who are they? Well, we'll have to find out next time on AutoSave. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Nick Andrade and myself, Camille Salazar-Hadaway. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Zeiser. Technical production by Greg Fillion. Executive producer Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now. And if it happens to be Apple Podcasts, kindly leave us a rating and a review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.